Hello everyone, Tony here with Kinoptico. Today we're going to get familiar with the RGBlink Mini ISO video switcher, which is this one that I have right here. This video is going to be very organic and we're going to get to know about this little device together. As we go, I'm going to be switching, so there's not going to be much editing in this video for you to know, just for you to know. So let's start right away. The first thing I want to show you is in input 4. I'm talking about the inputs in this video, the layout. All right, from right to left and from top to bottom, here we have the main power switch. After that, we have the power input, which is USB-C. You're gonna get the power adapter for this with a cable included. Right after that, we have 4 HDMI inputs. And after that, we have the multi-view HDMI output. On the right-hand side of the switcher, as you can see, we have a webcam input right here. And right after that, we have a program HDMI output. To the left of that, we have the record input, where you can connect an SSD or any thumb drive up to 64 gigabytes. To the left of that, we have the Ethernet port, which is also considered as the stream control. And right after that, the audio inputs. These audio inputs might not be very intuitive, but I will recommend you to connect the splitter cable they send you to this input right here. And then from there, connect your microphone together with your headphones. On the left-hand side of the switcher, we have the 4 SDI inputs. All right, now let's see the button layout on top of the unit. Here we have the zoom controls. This is useful for zooming in and out on your PTZ camera, as well as composing what they call scene, which is this button right here. I'll explain you that in a minute. On top here we have the stream button. We're not live streaming right now, but if we press on it, you can see that it turns red. Then right underneath we have the scene button. The scene button is basically to overimpose or superimpose one image on top of the other or on the side. Basically, you compose 2 images the way, whichever way you prefer. And the zoom button helps for that, and this controller as well. Right underneath, we have the physical audio control buttons here. Right beside that, we also have the audio follows video, the mute and unmute button here. Down here are basically the headphones and the microphone input controls for you to control the volume of it. And then on the right, we have menu here, which is this little house. And then on top of that, we have the jog wheel, the controller for the menu. Underneath that, we have layer A and layer B. These 2 buttons are basically the ones that we're gonna use to compose a scene, as they call it. I'll say that this is basically more a picture-in-picture than anything else. Then right here we have the control for the PTZ camera, and as well as for the scene compositions, and the T-bar. Here we have the preview and program buttons. Right beside the cut and auto buttons to switch from one camera to the other. In the box, together with the switcher, you're gonna get this power adapter, this power cable, which is USB-C to USB-C, one USB-C-A cable, and this splitter audio cable that I previously mentioned, where you can connect a microphone as well as your headphones. Connected to the switcher right now, as you can see, I have the splitter cable, where I have my headphones connected, as well as the microphone input. Right after that, I have this SSD hard drive connected, where I'm actually recording at this moment. I have this program output connected to this microphone right here. And then I have 4 cameras connected to the back of the switcher, where you can see this is camera 1, this is camera 2, this is camera 3, and this is the input 4. Basically, I have my computer connected over there, not a camera. But then I also have on the left here, let me see if you can see that. On the left, I have a PTZ camera connected to input 3. I'm going to switch to that camera now by going into the menu. I'm going to go to input, select input 3. I'm actually going to hot swap from HDMI 3 to SDI 3, which I just did. If I go out of the menu again, as you can see now in camera 3, I have this PTZ camera that I'm going to take down here. Okay, there's a little glitch going on with this switcher that I'm going to explain you a little bit later. But for now, I have this PTZ camera connected here. Before we keep going, I'm going to show you that this PTZ camera is actually connected here now. I'm controlling it, right? I can zoom in and zoom out, but I'm going to switch to that camera. Going to the menu again, input 3, select SDI, and that's what you have right there right now. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to go up, but as you can see, it doesn't stop. When I switch up, it keeps going, it doesn't stop. When I go down, it keeps going down. If I go to the left or right, it just doesn't stop. So I'm gonna have to find out exactly what the glitch is with these PTZ controls. I'm pretty sure that that's probably just a software little thing that can be corrected. It's probably a software bug, but that is only happening in the physical controller here, because if I go to the menu and I go to PTZ controls and I go down to this jog wheel here, as you can see, I can now control it by one single touch directly on the screen, because this is touch screen, which is very convenient. It has physical controls, but it also has a touch screen. Okay, I can zoom in, I can zoom out right here, zoom in, zoom out, go down, go up, go right, go left. So in the touch screen, I can actually control perfectly fine the PTZ camera, but if I go through these controls, it just keeps going to whatever direction I set it up for. Okay, now to set up the camera, I'm going to go to the menu and show you exactly how that's done. I'm going to hit menu here. I'm going to PTZ controls. And then once in this part of the menu, you have to figure out which is the IP address of your camera as well as the VSCA port of your camera. In this case, I have the Avcans PTZ camera, and the port for that is 1259 with a 0 at the front. Sony cameras have a different VSCA port, and other brands have other ports. You can find those numbers with your camera provider. Here you can set up the speed of the PTZ. You can also do the zoom of the camera right here, and you can actually even focus or just leave it in autofocus here. And here is the controller for the pan and tilt. All right, and going out of the menu, I'm going to go now to inputs. And inputs, you have input 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Input 5 in this case is the webcam input, which is the USB port on the right hand side of the unit. And again, each one of these ports, when you click on them, you can switch from HDMI to SDI. In input 5, you can have your UVC or webcam, as well as an NDI input, whichever you decide. And I'll keep going in the menu. Let's go to audio now. Audio 1, 2, 3, 4, or input 5 could be, and then microphone 1, microphone 2, and microphone 3. Each one of these inputs, you can have them in mix, audio follows video, or off. In this case, I have all of these inputs off right now, as you may see, and I only have microphone 1 and 2 connected and turned on because I'm recording in this unit right now. And now we're gonna see the outputs. Here is the format of the output: 920 by 1080, 60, 50, 30. Let me see. It could be a smaller too. 1280 by 720. And then right underneath we have the streaming. As you can see, if I turn the streaming button here, it does turn on here as well. So it's basically the same function. Here we can change the bit rate at which we live stream. It could be 4, 8, or 16. 16 being the best video quality that you can live stream at. And then we have the mode. This is interesting in this video switcher. We can have an horizontal composition of 16 by 9, or we can have a vertical composition if you're going to live stream to platforms like TikTok or Twitter, for instance. Here we have the NDI encoder. We're not going to be using that because you will need to purchase an NDI license for this. And here we have the Tau Cloud configuration that we're going to be taking a look at later. There you can live stream to up to 3 platforms at the same time, as you can see, through the Tau Cloud. Now we're going to go to record here. In record, you can see that I am currently recording, so I'm not going to touch this. I'm actually recording at a bit rate of 16 megabits per second, which is the best possible recording quality that you can do this at. You have the disk info. I'm not going to touch that. The disk format here. As I mentioned before, I am recording to an SSD. If we go back to output, here at the end we have USB capture. In USB capture, I have it selected to program, of course. And then you also have TP. TP basically means test pattern, which is the color bars on the screen. That's all it is. In case you need some color bars with tone. I'm not sure if it has a tone actually, but this will be the output for that. All right, going out of that part of the menu, we're going to go to views. This is, I think, a nice way to control your PTZ camera. I'm going to switch to the PTZ camera now, and I have here preset different movements. If I hit 1, the camera is going to go there. If I hit view number 2, the camera is going to go over there. If I hit view number 3, it's going to come down here. And number 4 is going to be over there. So this could definitely be a nice way to control your PTZ camera. It has been so far the most effective way for me to control the camera itself. All right, and then we're going to keep going in the menu, scroll to the left. Here we have the effects. If you want to use just fading transition from one camera to the other, you can use that one over there. If you just want to cut from one camera to the other, you can use this button to cut, or this one, whichever. I mean, basically this auto button is when you have the fading selected, so you don't have to use the T-bar, but you can also use the T-bar if you prefer. There's a lot of other transitions here that I actually don't use very much, but again, they're there if you decide to use them. All right, let's keep going with the menu. Here we have the key settings. I'm not gonna go into detail about the key settings. Basically, this is for chroma key, as you can see. But I'm gonna go back to the menu and I'm going to go to settings. In settings, is where you can set up the language. Here you have the device version. Here you have TauCloud, and that's what we're gonna see now. TauCloud is not currently connected because this is another little issue that I think we can improve as well. For this device to connect to TauCloud, the IP settings, the IP address has to be set up for, let me go here, DHCP, which is the way the switcher recognizes automatically any random IP address and connects to it. But for the PTZ camera to connect to the switcher, it has to have a very specific IP address. So if they're connected to different IP addresses, then there's a conflict and the PTZ camera won't connect to the switcher while it is connected to the internet. So unless, I think the solution for that will be to find a way to change the IP address in your PTZ camera or set it up for DHCP as well. But those are little details that I'm pretty sure there's better ways to solve. If you have a solution for that, just leave it in the comments. Okay, and then we have here the time setting, the fan speed. I'm just gonna leave, time setting is basically for what day is today. The fan speed, you can leave it at auto, but if you switch it off, you can then control the speed manually. I'll just leave it at auto because that way the switcher is going to change the speed according to the temperature inside of the switcher. If we could keep going down, you have the T-bar correction. We don't need to go there. A key test, and here's where you can update your switcher directly. Right now is not going to do that. It says please check your network connection. Right now, for me to be able to connect the PTZ camera, I am not connected to the internet correctly. And down here is where you can reset this unit. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to settings, and I am going to IP settings, and I'm going to set up this to DHCP, and then I'm going to save that change. Click save down here. We're gonna have to turn off and turn back on the unit for those changes to be registered so that this device can connect to the internet and be linked to the TauCloud, which is what I'm gonna show you next. Another thing that we could improve in this unit is the possibility of recording the menu in the multi-view, for instance. As you can see, there I have the multi-view, but I have the menu selected and I cannot see it in the multi-view, which is the reason why I have this close-up of the unit itself so that you can see what I'm doing in the menu. So now let's go back to the menu and see if I can connect to the TauCloud and register this device in the cloud. All right, as you can see there, when I hit the TauCloud, now the device is connected to the internet and it's showing me a verification number here, which is the one I'm going to use to connect it to the TauCloud. I'm gonna click on input 4 and go to the TauCloud here. And I'm going to click on binding devices. I'm going to name this device however I want it. In this case, I'll just name it RGBlink 1. And then I'm going to introduce the code that you saw there. This code changes every few seconds, so you better introduce it as soon as you can. So the number of this one is 88 now, 60, 1965, and then I'm gonna click on bind and let's see what happens. There it is, it's already online. And as you can see, we have here a lot of information about this device, including temperature, what I have connected to it, etc., etc. Here we have the basic functions of the switch. Here we have the recording on and off. And here we have the streaming. This is where you're going to basically introduce your streaming keys. You introduce the streaming key number 1 over here, number 2 over here, number 3, number 4. And as soon as you're ready, you just click on air and you should be good to go. And going back to the menu, I'm going to show you now what the scene is about. Here we have button A and B, that's layer A and layer B. I just turned on the scene. I'm going to turn on the layer B. That's gonna superimpose or overimpose another image, whichever you have pre-selected at the bottom. It could be this or that. Let's say that I have my computer here selected. I'm going to now click and hold the zoom button to zoom it out. It's basically a picture-in-picture where you can basically crop whatever secondary picture-in-picture you want, and then you move it around with the cursor. And then when you have that selected, you can just switch to that, and there you have it. So as you can see, something you have to take into account is that when you're going to set up any scene, I'm going to switch to that again, is that I have the layer B selected there. When you push down, you have to push and hold, and after a few seconds it'll start cropping the image. To give you an example, I'm going to press it now. 1, 2, 3, and now it starts cropping. If you don't know that beforehand, you're gonna be trying to figure out exactly why it works like this. And then you move the image around, as you can see, and it's not very precise. You have to go slow, and then it kind of jumps. But that's basically how it works. I'm going to turn off this layer now, turn off the scene, switch to this camera, because that's pretty much all I have. This switcher is really nice. It's very compact. That's one of the benefits of it. Like, look at the size of my hand, right? It's very tiny and extremely portable. I would recommend this to podcasters, small live streamers. This is a switcher you could basically have at home, in a meeting room. It could also be used for a Zoom conference and many other functionalities. All right, that's all I have for today. Remember that if you like this video, you can like, comment, and subscribe. Happy streaming. See you next time.